Einstock Icelandic Pale Ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
There is no sun, but there is beer. Tonight I've got a bottle of the Einstock Icelandic Pale Ale, all the way from sunny Iceland. And if that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what is. Einstock. They are an Icelandic brewery who have been around a while actually. I do remember drinking some of this stuff. I don't know what order I'm going to put these reviews up, but I've just done their Icelandic White Ale, which was their attempt at a Belgian blonde. It was okay, nothing special. This is Arctic Pale Ale. Now, I don't know whether this is a get out clause because they called the other one Icelandic White Ale, but they copied a lot of stuff from the Belgian Wit beer, which they admitted on the back, and I was expecting that. I didn't really get that. So I'm not sure whether this is what they're trying to do here or not. I don't know. But it's Einstock. Einstock means special in Icelandic, and that Olgerd is Icelandic for brewery. They're not bad, to be fair. I have tried a couple of their beers before, as I say. On the previous one, they used to do a couple of their stuff. They used to do a couple of their beers down in the Crowbar. If you're familiar with London at all and you like your metal and punk and whatnot, there is a rock bar down there called the Crowbar, very small little place tucked away outside of the Charing Cross Road, just off of it, and they do some fucking great beer in there. They do Budvar, they do Schneider Weiss. They really know their beers. It's all bottled beer, there's no drafts, it's all bottles, but the bottles they do are fantastic, and this is one of them. I do this, and they do the white ale as well, which I tried recently. Yeah, let's get this open and tasted. What is it? Well, it is a free 30ml bottle of Arctic Pale Ale. That is something I've never heard of before, but that's what they're calling it. It's 5.6% ABV on the side of the bottle, which I really like about this brewery. Everything's in English, right? But one thing you will find about the Scandinavians, they speak perfect English. I know Swedish people. I've worked with Swedish people and all that. They speak better English and they've got better grammar than people that have been born and bred in this country. So work that one out. Same goes for the Dutch as well. Perfect English. It's a bit unnerving. Makes you think they might want to invade one day, you know. Anyway. What have we got on the side of this? 3 kinds of hops combined with pure Icelandic water to create our version of the Arctic Pale Ale. Now, to be honest, they called their it was called Icelandic White Ale. So they're not trying to copy anything. They're trying to invent their own genres, which I think is really good. But they've called this Arctic Pale Ale. Where robust flavour means smooth malt, Cascade hops give that American character, while Northern Brewer and Hallertau tradition adds enough bright bitterness to make this ale refreshingly Icelandic and to make everything else pale in comparison. That's what I like about this beer. They're still saying we're Icelandic, and they've called it their own, you know, Icelandic Arctic Ale. Who's going to say, this doesn't taste like an Icelandic Arctic Ale? So, you know, they're out on their own there. Anyway, let's get it open. Let's see what it tastes like. Now, the thing is with this, I can't really compare it to anything because this is what they call Arctic Pale Ale. So, lovely cap, by the way. I see this on the last one as well. It's 2 crossed axes. Really nice. Shame it's not 2 crossed hammers, but you can't have everything, can you? Right, on the nose, out the bottle. Do you know what? Fucking hell. This smells more spicy than the Vit beer that they were trying to copy. Oh, there's malt on there as well though. Toasty, bready, biscuity malt. Yeah, and that's what I'm getting now. Big malt on there. Okay, smells promising. Let's get it out of the glass. Sorry, let's get it into the glass. I always do that. Let's get it into the glass. Whoa, that is lively. 2 finger head on that. Oh, cloudy as well. Get you. Nice and cloudy. Fucking hell. Fair bit of carbonation on that. Now I have to say, the Arctic, not the Arctic Pale Ale, that's what I'm drinking. The Vit beer attempt, the white ale, Icelandic white ale, that didn't have much flavour, but it had a super smooth body and it was really drinkable, which sort of made up for the lack of flavour. I don't know what to expect from this, but on the nose, out of glass, yeah, it's big malty flavours, biscuit and caramel. Yeah, big biscuit and caramel malt. So it's got the Hallertau, which is a lager malt, a lager hop effectively. It's one of the noble hops, and the Cascade hops, which should give it a little bit of fruit and a little bit of citrus. Well, citrus fruit. Let's stop gassing and let's get this down the hatch. I don't know what the Icelandic is for cheers. Skull, maybe. I was going to say skull. I'm probably insulting a nation full of Icelandics, but fuck them. Skull. Or skola, as they say in Sweden. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I was all prepared to slag this off because I was getting like a very bitter, astringent type taste to it. Then all of a sudden I was hit by a big back end of biscuit and caramel malt. Let me dive in again. This is a bit sort of off the wall. This actually reminds me of an old style pale ale that you used to get over in the United Kingdom. I think with the Cascade hops and the Hallertau, it's sort of being balanced out, so there's no big citrusy, fruity notes on this. It's actually reminded me of an old school British pale ale. This is what you would mix with your light and lager if you were living in London or the south, or your light and bitter if you lived up in the north of the UK. It's one of them just very neutral, top fermented ales from what I'm getting. When you drink, when you put your nose into the glass, you're getting the aroma of floral, citrusy, fruity type notes. When you drink it, you're getting big malt, biscuity and caramel, slight caramel type malts. And it's as I say, it reminds me of an old school British pale ale. That's what I'm getting. You could mix this with a lager and you'd have an old school, well, if you mixed it with a shit lager, if you can get it now, Skull, Hofmeister, do you remember him? Mix it with that, you got yourself a light and lager. Webster's, do you remember Webster's? Yorkshire Bitter. Mix it with that. I used to drink that years ago. I'm an old fucker. I'm in my 50s. And that was, I went for a phase of drinking light and lager. And it was, I think it was Watney's Pale Ale. And the lagers on tap would have been, you had your Australian lagers, 4X, that were coming in. Didn't really think much of them. And you had your bitters. Webster's Bitter was a big thing down here. Don't know what happened to that. That's disappeared now. Who was the other one? You had your Ben Truman and all that. Bitters. And your lagers were, yeah, Skull. Foster's was coming in at the time. And yeah, and this is reminding me of the pale ale you'd mix it with. And at that time, they called it the dark ages of British brewing. And to be honest, the flavour on this, they're not big, but it's drinkable. Don't get me wrong, it's okay. There's nothing in that that's offending me. But there's nothing in that that wants me to drink it again. So what's the verdict? Well, it's done a good job of bringing back the 1980s and the 70s for me, because it's one of them pale ales that have got, you know, it's got the slight citrusy floral type notes, but on the arse end of it, it's just big malty flavours. And as pale ales go, this is like a throwback to the 1970s and the 1980s. It's something you need to mix with another beer. So if I had, like, as I say, you know, well, I'd like to mix it with a decent sort of lager or a bitter, and it would go down really nice. So if ever I wanted to recreate the 1980s with light and bitter or light and lager, this will probably be my go-to.